Yo, guys, let's bring the volume down. Can or should I be buying the next dip? We had a really good weekly candle close with Bitcoin. So today I want to talk about that. And I want to try and set the narrative, give you a few things to look forward to that is currently shown in the charts. So if I bring up my screen and we look at this chart real quick, this is Bitcoin, the BLX chart. So this is the significance of 30,500 and why getting above it really makes things or changes things completely. So remember what we said when we started to create the range. This is the top of the bull market way back a few years ago. Listen, remember this Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. We can see that there's significant areas where people disagreed and agreed. There, everybody agreed it was expensive. There, everybody agreed at 30,600 Bitcoin was cheap. And then once it went there again, they were in agreement that it's expensive. Only a few people bought, fell back down. And then lastly, when it went back to 30,500, that ultimately realization that 30K is no longer cheap. So we're changing our minds and we sold off. Subsequently, we had a scenario where 2 times within this year, in April and again in July, we went to 30,500 and everybody said it's too expensive. Now, that has changed. It's no longer too expensive. Delete that comment. Things are looking up. When we have a reversal divergence, it means that we typically have a strong bearish divergence. And this means that price goes and makes a higher high and the oscillator, our RSI, goes in the opposite direction. Now, if we go back to our BTC chart, this is what happened. And we sold 31,500 and we enjoyed the run on the way back down. When we got to the bottom, I explained to you guys, well, guys, it's time to be bullish at the bottom. We had hidden bullish divergence. What type of divergence is that? Well, a continuation of the trend. Remember, Bitcoin was going up from 18K all the way to 30. So this was an existing uptrend. So we had price making not a lower low, but the oscillator trending down, as you can see within price. Oscillator trending down, RSI holding or price holding. So I'm selling the narrative to myself that I can start feeling okay to look for buy the dip opportunities. Because what we did was over the weekend, the weekly close. Remember, the BLX is a updates after each and every daily close. So it's not a live price chart. So it gives you really good information on the agreed upon price. So the weekly closed on average at $34,000 a BTC. Great news for us because it meant that the RSI, and let's make this RSI nice and big, is now or has now deleted the potential strong bearish divergence. Bitcoin has been the only thing running out of the blue, and everything else within the legacy markets, the NASDAQ and so forth, they were all going down. So if there's a real bullish undertone there, we've got a bullish Bitcoin and a bullish legacy market pushing up, things might get really good for us going forward. Now, as the stock markets keep on rallying, up until the point that the Fed decides to reduce the rates, only thereafter the real economic recession comes in. Okay. So for now, this then means we can be or can have a longer-term bullish outlook. Now, let's quickly have a look at the Dixie. I want to quickly show you guys the Dixie. Dixie goes down, Bitcoin goes up. And when the Dixie goes up, obviously, the opposite happens. So with the Dixie going sideways in a lateral range, it does not tell us yet that it's ready to go down. It just tells us that at this stage, people are thinking about. So I'm going to quickly bring up the start of the bull market and the end of the bull market for crypto. You can see that ultimately, this is when Bitcoin really starts moving. And that's when the top gets created, February 2018. Our previous cycle also followed by the Dixie selling down up till March 2021. And this bear market rally, which is what it's still being referred to, which started in November last year, October last year, when we were around 18K, Dixie has been moving down. So the big question is, when will the run end? So looking at the Dixie at this stage from a monthly time period, we can create a top around this area and sell off, or we can go sideways chopping maybe for another month or so, maybe still hit this target. Ultimately, it's still pointing to what? If this is trending up, and this is the upper end of our trend, and let me just switch off this correlated big white line so it just cleans the screen up again. Give me a quick sec, just need to get it. So if we're trending up, we have an upper and a bottom end of the range. Okay, and then there's a middle point. This is where the Dixie decides what it wants to do. Where are we now? We're at that area where the Dixie wants to decide what it wants to do. So it can potentially chop like it did over here. It means that we're going to be range bound for Bitcoin, cryptos, maybe for another month. Remember, we're about 5 months off from Bitcoin halving. Where's my page gone to? Let me just reload my page. So we're about 5 months off, 170 days from halving. And we know after the halving, that's where things really start taking, when the bull markets really start getting momentum. Or we can start selling off, seeing as this is a confirmation that we've lost this upwards momentum, which means we can start daydreaming of a Dixie doing this. And this then brings in this hope that I want to try and explain to you guys. With Bitcoin going all the way, even as high as 52 before we even start thinking about going down. And I want to point this out to you guys. Look at this. Okay. Strong bullish divergence. RSI going higher. And you now know, everybody on the stream, strong bullish divergence. What is that? It's a reversal divergence. Price goes, makes a lower low, but the oscillator, the RSI, is turning in a different direction, guys. Okay, so I'm telling you that the stock markets are showing us some undertones. Now, the divergence is locked in because the daily and the weekly closed as such. But when do we really see the momentum? When would the confidence be behind this, that it's truly going to do something for me and you? Well, ultimately, we just need to wait and see whether within this week or the next coming week, we get above this level. Because if we get above this level, 32,900, that then opens the door for more. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on real quick. So how high? Because I'm getting the question, maybe what have I missed the move? Things are already going, okay? How high? Well, simply put, I want to just show you something in a very easy way to try and digest. Bull market, previous one, between the two halvings, halving 2 and 3. Okay, when it retraces, top to bottom, okay? This is going to take the lowest price point, 50%. You can see that around that area where things was confirmed no longer cheap but expensive, we went back and we tested that range. And it's ultimately once we got above it, bull market happened. And it was kind of after the halving. So where are we now? Let's see if there's any similarities within the bigger cycle of things. So I'm going to take the top to the bottom. And I'm going to say, right, so looking at where we are, we're potentially going to try and move up there now. We could only have a little bit of a retrace. After the halving, we can go sideways. I don't know how this is going to look, guys. I will take it as the candles print. But ultimately, there's a real good significant reason to say that. Maybe BlackRock, which is really not our friend, is going to use this hype, this buying, to secure what it is they want. And at that stage, potentially, have a little bit of a retrace dip. Doesn't go back down to 14K. None of this. Not even 21K. Maybe it doesn't even hit that. But gives us this move where we can buy back to set us up for the next rally. Okay. Now, guys, real quick. Today's video is sponsored by Bybit. If you go into the video description, in the link there's a Bybit link. If you open your account using my link, you'll get some deposit rewards, meaning that Bybit will actually give you some money so you can learn how to trade with me without using your initial capital. Okay. So make use of this deal. And if you do that, in addition to this, you will actually have access to our leverage trade channel, the chat channel, where you can talk and ask questions. There's a good example of Picasso. He's got a Bybit VIP account, right? Asking questions, talking to guys. I'm going to say goodbye to each and every one of you guys. Just as a reminder, drop me a comment, tell me where you're at, and I always like to respond and reply to that. If you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thanks for watching. And last little thing, this one, Onyx Coin, I'm still waiting. The buy zone's still relevant, and I still see a little bit of downside. So head over to the Discord. All the charts from today will be posted within the Discord area here, within the YouTube charts. So you can easily go and keep up to date with what was said, what I'm seeing, and what I'm thinking. And tomorrow we're going to be live within the live charting session as well. So make sure to book your time. It's going to be directly after the YouTube. Right, guys, you have a lovely day. And as always, keep hustling.